Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo. We go inside the Vikings' decision to fire Kwesi Adofo-Mensah today. Plus, Jack Julson out of Bismarck Legacy on signing with the Dragons. Hot Mic begins now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No.
I like what Dom's doing.
Okay. Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. I was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the deep dive edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning everybody in Sioux Falls, KNBN in western South Dakota, and all parts in between at Inforum.com. Happy Tuesday everybody, February 3 is here, 2026, ready to rock and roll. Welcome to the show, I am Dom Izzo, host of said program. Appreciate, we got a bunch of emails after the show yesterday. Variety of things ranging from Olympic fanfare to our program. Appreciate those, and we'll hopefully, if we have time, we'll get to a couple today. People reaching out, always affirming when we get some emails, yay or nay. Got a few of those too, that people are watching, which is always what I want to hear. We got a packed one coming for you today. We have much more on the Vikings' decision to part ways. It's the fancy way of saying firing now in 2026 with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, one of the insider reporters who's got all the good stuff. Will join us on our show this morning to chat about that. We'll also hear from Bison men's basketball coach Dave Richman coming up in our second hour. Bison are back home this week to start big game stretch with Denver and Omaha. We'll chat about that, and of course the thrilling overtime win over South Dakota that's coming up. And tomorrow is National Signing Day, Part 2. It's Part 2 for the Division I schools, and it's a big day for Division II and Division III. So for the Dragons, for the Cobbers, for the Marauders, for the Jimmies, Beavers, you name it, either Bemidji or Minot, tomorrow's a big day, and we're going to hear from one of the top recruits in the state of North Dakota that is going to be playing football across the river at Moorhead next fall. That's coming up later on in the show, and you'll meet a bunch. You've seen them, whether it been on First Down Friday or a variety of our coverage here over the last few months that were dynamite on the football field. And they may not be playing Division I football. Doesn't mean they're not going to be playing high level. And the NSIC is pretty darn good, as we found out. So that's coming up later today. Much more coverage tomorrow, I know, on WDAY Sports. The first Wednesday in February used to be a huge deal. That was the day. It was signing day. And when the early signing period came, it totally took all the air out of what this day used to be. Imagine now trying to hang on to a guy that commits in June, or like the Buys just got a guy to commit in last week, 2 weeks ago, right? Now imagine trying to hang on to him for a full year plus. That's what the calendar used to look like in college football. Some would like to see it go back that way. Personally, I'm in favor of it going the other way. Have them have a period in August or June when they can commit, because most are going to know. I mean, heck, yesterday we were reading the story that our friend Ryan Burns reported on, talking with David Mack out of Moorhead, saying that, you know, Minnesota is, if not the top school at his list, it's right at the very top. These guys they've been on multiple visits. It's the home stretch now of trying to figure out where they're going to go. Pie in the sky probably on trying to figure out an earlier signing date, but you never know. A lot to get to today. You'll also hear in just a few minutes, we had Super Bowl opening night last night. Our guy, we had Gray Zabel, my interview with him yesterday. If you missed it, it's available at Inforum.com. You can podcast it from our show yesterday as well. You know you're a big deal when you get one of the podiums on Super Bowl opening night. So 11 players get picked from each team, and you get plopped down And basically, it's like a buffet where reporters can just come up, get what you need, move on to the next guy. I'll speak from personal experience on this. When we were there in Minneapolis, it was the Patriots and the Eagles were playing that year, obviously. And, I mean, the line for Brady was just absurd. Somehow I got a question and a half in on Brady, which was amazing that we used for our story that night. But it's fast. It just bam, bam, bam. So the fact that Zabel got his own podium last night, A, pretty darn good player, because they're not doing that for everybody. B, must have something good to say. He had an hour last night, and we got a couple snippets of that we're going to play here coming up in just a little bit. But we'll start our show today with some breaking news. The Wolves cannot put anything together that is consistent. After early part of the year, they were great against the bad teams, stinky against the good teams. Now it's flipped. They're really good against the good teams, and they stink against the teams that are bad. Case in point, what happened last night in Memphis, because the Grizzlies came in 11 games under 500. They're not playing with any of their dudes, and yet Minnesota messed around last night in a game that they, frankly, should not have lost. They fell behind by 13 points, again, against a Memphis team. Who was playing? That's Gigi Jackson, Duncan. Not sure if that's a carry or not. Either way, it's a heck of a move for a flush. He had 13 points. Wolves are down 10 late in the second quarter. Ant drives and scores. Seems like it's pretty consistent that Anthony Edwards is going to be the guy playing the hardest every night. Got him down by 8. Move to the third quarter. It's a 5-point Memphis lead. Julius Randle. Is he going to be traded? We hope not. Hangs in the air and finishes. Gets the lead. Down to 3. Move to the fourth. Edwards with a fabulous move to the basket. No foul called. Edwards had 39 last night. The lead is down to 4. Watch this drive. Finish. I mean, he did everything he could to get Minnesota back in this game. Grizzlies, though, kept hitting shots. Look how deep this one is. That's a deep 3. Ty Jerome. Who? Memphis goes up 106-89. Later, another deep 3. That's Jaren Jackson Jr. He had 30 last night for Memphis. They go up by 14. Wolves aren't done yet. Scoreboard came a little early. That's all right, though. Jaden McDaniels cans a 3. McDaniels went for 29, 5 of 7 from three-point range. But, again, every time that the Wolves try to draw closer, Memphis had a response. How about that finish? Somebody step in front of Cedric Howard. Nobody did. Hammers it down. Again, Memphis came in 11 games under 500. Not anymore. You get dunks like that. Yikes. The Wolves give up 137 last night. They lose 137-128 to Minnesota, or beat Minnesota. Wolves fall to 31-20. Their win streak over at 4. Memphis now just 10 games under 5. And again, no John Morant last night. I mean, they were playing. Jaren Jackson Jr. is the only guy probably anybody knows. That is a bad loss. That goes under that category. Up-to-date standings in the Western Conference here on this 3rd of February. The Wolves sit in 5th, a half game ahead of the Lakers. A game and a half back of the Rockets for 4th. The Nuggets have Jokic back, just a heads up there. Denver didn't sag at all, by the way. Jokic was gone for a month, and Denver stayed in 3rd. Spurs in 2nd, 5.5 back of OKC. Now you actually have to look at the play-in teams here, because the Wolves are just a half game ahead of the Suns as well in the 7th spot. Then there's a little bit of breathing room after that. Warriors at 8, Clippers at 9, Portland at 10. Again, trade deadline is on Thursday at 3 o'clock. The rumors keep circulating that the Wolves are going to be interested in Giannis. We'll see what happens between now and then. So in your programming predicament last night, there were the Wolves falling to Memphis. The Wild were playing their final home game before the Olympic break. Of course, the Winter Games in Milan begin on Thursday. The Olympic men's hockey tournament doesn't start till next week. But you got to get everybody over to Italy. So the season will stop on Thursday night. The Wild were playing Montreal last night at the building formerly known as the Xcel Energy Center. They got up 1-0. They add to it later in the first with Kaprizov scoring on a rebound in front, his 31st of the year, to make it a 2-1 Minnesota lead. Montreal would tie it. Ivan Demidov on a one-timer, his 12th of the year, makes it a 2-2 score through 2 periods. Montreal would take the lead. Kirby Dach will get in just 12 seconds into the third. The ice is fresh. Tips him a goal right in front of Gustafsson. That's about just throw to the net. Good things happen. It did there. It's 3-2 Montreal. Wild, though, man, they are pretty good in the third. This is Brock Faber getting through. He'll play for the United States next week. That ties the game at 3. It goes to overtime. Of course you think he's going to get the puck. Kaprizov wins it on a power play goal. Remember, it's 4-on-3 when you get a power play in overtime with a perfect wrist shot. His 32nd goal of the year. The Wild get the extra point as they beat Montreal 4-3. Kaprizov with first star honors last night in getting the win, which is their final game at home. They'll play Nashville tomorrow night before the Olympic break. Now, the standings here, again, to explain this for the NHL is like hieroglyphics. But remember, the top 3 in each division make the tournament, and then it's the top 2 wildcard spots after that. The Wild are currently second in their division, a point ahead of Dallas, 5 behind Colorado, who has the best record in the NHL. If the playoffs were to start today, and I know they don't, the Wild would host Dallas. Again, the 3 best teams in the league play in the same division, and they don't have to play each other in the first 2 rounds. Make it make sense, NHL. Wild play their final game coming up, as I mentioned, tomorrow night at Nashville. All right, before we set up the show, we mentioned off the top of Super Bowl opening night, we heard my conversation with Gray Zabel. Now, yesterday on opening night, he got asked everything, whether it was favorite SpongeBob episode to growing up in South Dakota. I mean, everything under the sun. Like what shows he was binge watching. I got to give him a shout out. He binge watched Game of Thrones apparently with Jay Kubas. Let's shout out to that because that's fantastic. A couple years ago. We did glean, though, a couple of pretty good answers, including, you'll hear here, he was asked to pick his Mount Rushmore of Bison football players. Here's Gray Zabel from last night.
It was one of those deals. It was a mindset of playing up in Fargo, and I think my strength coach, Jim Kramer, did an unbelievable job of establishing that. And I think in life, it's just a mindset of whether you got to be tough or not and turn down a hit or something like that. So I got a lot of people to thank for getting me to this place. Okay, my Mount Rushmore of North Dakota State players of all time. Okay. Number 1, I'm going to go with Billy Turner, left tackle for us. I think I don't know how many years he played in the league. He played in the league a lot, so I'm going to give O-line some love. So Billy Turner. Number 2 is going to be my offense coordinator, Tyler Roll. Dude was a stud. We still have the 07 like explosive tape, highlight tape pulled up almost on the daily. Number 3, I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with, got to say, my freshman year roommate, Cam Miller. Won a lot of games. What an unbelievable player he was. And then 4, I'm going to go, I'm going to go Kyle Emanuel, defensive end. Played for the Chargers for some years. So those are my 4. Billy Turner, Tyler Roll, Cam Miller, and Kyle Emanuel are my Mount Rushmore of North Dakota State. When the Seattle's called me to draft me, I was super grateful that they'd take an opportunity on a guy like me, and it's super cool to see this kind of come full circle in your first year, and have the opportunity to go and play in the Super Bowl. So from day one, they had a vision, they had a standard, and they had a mentality of what they wanted to establish in Seattle. And I think it was just my job when I got drafted to come in and do all those three things and give the team an opportunity to be able to win the last game of the season. And shout out to the Senior Bowl for giving me an opportunity to go and compete and kind of show who I am against the higher level defensive linemen and stuff, higher level players there. So we're extremely grateful for that. And it's one of those deals is how crazy your life can change in a matter of a year with hard work and determination. So extremely grateful for everything that's happened along the way. And this past year has been one of the best years of my life. So we're excited.
Pretty good stuff there. We'll spend some more time on that Mount Rushmore there. How about our guy Kyle Emanuel make it on there for Gray's top four? Cam Miller, Tyler Roll, no surprise there. Roll was the biggest recruiter of Zabel to get him out of Pierre to come to Fargo in the fall of 2020. Committed in the summer of 2019. Remember that vividly. And then shout out to the OG Billy Turner, the first of this Bison offensive line brigade that has been drafted into the NFL. We have a great show, packed show on tap here for us on this Tuesday. Just a few minutes, you'll hear from Matthew Coller from Purple Insider to give us the lowdown, everything he'll report on the Kwesi Adofo-Mensah dismissal, where the Vikings go from here, and how J.J. McCarthy should be feeling this morning. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Our guy Mike McFeely will be in studio at 9:35. Today's a big day for those of us that are following what's going on in the Mountain West Conference. They're going to announce their new television deal in regards to football. Intrigued to see what that is coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, it's Tuesday. David Richman will join us, North Dakota State men's basketball coach. Bison, we mentioned, have a 2-game homestand coming up. We'll chat about that. And at 10:35, on the eve of National Signing Day, one of the state's top players, Bismarck Legacy's Jack Julson, will join us on signing with the Dragons. That's coming up at 10:35. That and much more here on a busy Tuesday. We'll take our first break. We come back. Matthew Coller will join us on the decision to move on from Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. That's coming up on the other side of the break. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, high school game of the week back tonight here on Extra. Girls Hoops, Kindred Oak Grove. So we are a month out from the Class A tournament, which is in Jamestown this year. Coverage begins 7:30 tonight here on WDAY Extra. We get our show off and rolling here. We hit it hard and heavy to start yesterday. It happened after we got off the air Friday with the news of after the Twins had the headlines for about a half hour. The Vikings decided to dominate with the dismissal, part ways, the fancy way of firing general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Really pumped to have Matthew Coller back on our show from the Purple Insider, the man who runs everything there. Did a really, I told everybody, we read snippets of it yesterday on the show on the insight of what was going down inside at TCO Performance Center. It's great to have you back, bud. I opened up a little can of this, and man, there's so many different wormholes to go down. What has been maybe the most surprising reaction to your story and the other reports of this over the last 48 hours?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about surprising because we've sort of been preparing for this possibility for a little while. I mean, anytime a team gets to 4-8 record, you start to look around and go, okay, what's going to happen? But then after they got to 9-8, come away from the season with a winning record, you can look back and go, man, if you had this one or that one, maybe you would have, found a way to make the playoffs. And then you see Kwesi Adofo-Mensah down at the Senior Bowl, and you think, like, okay, well, I guess, they're going to go forward. And that made a lot of sense to me. They brought these guys in together, and this looks like 2026 it all comes down to this, right? And that all made sense. And it sounds like the same thing was inside of the building at TCO Performance Center. Like, okay, everyone's going to have a lot of pressure here. And then seemingly out of nowhere, all right, you're fired. Now, a lot of people made that about Sam Darnold making the Super Bowl, and I am definitely not going to tell you it's not about Sam Darnold making the Super Bowl, because I know that the Wilf ownership, these are prideful people, as all owners are. Like, they do not like being embarrassed. They don't like every national show all week long talking about, hey, the Vikings screwed up and gave the Super Bowl quarterback here. And I'll be honest, on my show, I may have said this might be worse than Herschel Walker. So, it's a pretty rough look. But I think what's being overlooked a little bit is ESPN's Kevin Seifert reported that, Brian Flores didn't sign a contract extension. And part of that, until recently, and part of that was the trust between Flores and the front office. And then Flores returns. A week later, they say they had meetings and they were, quote, uncomfortable with the dynamic. And then they decided to move on from Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. I mean, I think that it's never one thing when a team makes this type of decision. But that timing, to me, I feel like it wasn't pointed out enough that Flores returns. A week later, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is gone. And then the ownership is saying, all right, KOC and Brian Flores, you guys are in charge of this entire offseason. That doesn't seem coincidental to me.
There's this part of your story I was maybe shocked isn't the right word, but it was played out, and this was after the first draft that Adolfo-Mensah had in 2022, and you wrote that by training camp, the coaching staff knew that Lewis Cine wasn't going to make it. That alone, if you're missing on a first-round pick 3 months in, Matthew, that's a major indictment in itself, isn't it?
Right. And that is another thing, too. And I wrote about this today about the drafting. Anybody who has ever studied the draft will tell you, and really gone in depth, that there is a ton of luck involved in the NFL draft. And Lewis Cine was a good prospect, and Andrew Booth Jr. was a good prospect. When you go back through any of the draft analysis and anything else, a lot of analysts gave the Vikings fairly high grades. But it was such a bold thing that they did, moving down from 12 to 32, and the traditional draft analysis charts, analytics charts, the Jimmy Johnson, they didn't like it. And it was moving out of a position where you had some really, really good prospects there to try to fill a lot of different needs at once. And if you're going to come in as the analytics GM, you're an outsider, and the first thing you do is very bold. And this is just how sports work. Is it fair? Of course it's not, but it better work, right? And it did not work. And it didn't even come close to working. And I think that, Lewis Cine also, broke his leg in the first year. But even then, it was very clear that Cam Bynum was a much better player. And that's also kind of the irony, too, of this entire situation is we talk about the drafting and, well, they missed on this guy and so forth. And that seemed to impact how Kwesi handled things in the future, because then it turned from, instead of stacking draft capital, we're going to trade draft capital for players, and we're going to go all in on one Dallas Turner pick, which I think has worked out, but not like for what they gave up for it. We're going to draft a guard and not trade down because we're kind of afraid of messing up again. And I think that sort of shows you just a little bit of, this was a guy I think that really understood a lot of the concepts of team building and things like that. But I don't know that after that, and then the parental leave thing that, became a huge story, which is a really complicated thing to try to get into. But I don't know that he had a ton of belief in him after that, as someone who came from the outside and as someone who did not have any previous leadership experience, was asked to come in and sell an entire building on his ideas, and then his first big idea completely blows up in his face. Like, that matters to how we ended up getting to this point.
How's JJ McCarthy feeling this morning after all this reporting has come out?
Yeah, that's funny because, the Buffalo Bills had this terrible press conference where the owner talked about, missing on a draft pick at Keon Coleman. And I thought, it's funny because JJ McCarthy has had the same thing essentially happen to him. It's like, the GM is fired because your coach or because your quarterback decision didn't work out. And ultimately, that's the thing, is that we can go into all that other stuff. We could go into the dynamics and the relationships and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is very unlikely being fired if J.J. McCarthy put the Minnesota Vikings into the playoffs, but he didn't. And it will be told in many different ways for many, many years to come. And I'm sure that, we'll never get a transcript of those meetings of how they landed on going with J.J. McCarthy. But one thing I am absolutely sure of is that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah did not unilaterally make that decision.
Right.
And that was another part of my article that I tried to present was, look, this was somebody who was not considered the most powerful person in the organization. And now we're making it look like he is the one who is to blame for moving on. Now, I know that he wanted to have the rookie scale contract. He wanted to spend the money to build up the roster. And that was his plan all along. So they got to that point. That was what they had expected to do. But if you're saying that it was all his fault, I mean, that to me is completely ridiculous and does not match up with any sort of logic. So that all plays into it as well. And if you're JJ McCarthy today, you have to feel like, I wonder what team I'm going to play for next, because Mark Wilf in his entire press conference didn't utter the words JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
right?
I noticed that too. Yep.
Yeah, and that's after last year when we were down at the owners' meetings. I mean, Mark couldn't have been more giddy about turning things over to J.J. McCarthy. So for him to not even be even remotely mentioned, for Kevin O'Connell to say he wants a highly competitive quarterback room. And you know what, man, I feel like we're right back in a circle of hell that the Vikings have been in for how many decades now of, well, it's time to go get somebody else's quarterback to pair with a really good roster and maybe take one swing at keeping everybody's job. That doesn't really sound to me like the best position for the organization.
My last thing for it, and I really appreciate you doing this morning. I know you're crazy busy. Now, the Vikes Wilf said on Friday they're not going to hire anybody till after the draft, which again is bizarre. They have the combine's coming up, as you well know, free agency, and then obviously the draft. These are the three major pillars of the offseason. Just the timing of this is bizarre, and Rob Brzezinski's going to lead the way. If this goes well, quote unquote, does he get the job then in May?
I mean, what is goes well again, because we won't know the results.
True.
I mean, so I know that inside that building, Rob Brzezinski is as respected as anybody that you will find within the Minnesota Vikings. And that also applies to around the NFL. Agents, other teams. Brzezinski has been a point man for Rick Spielman and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah in dealing with other teams and dealing with negotiating contracts, and is a very, very smart football guy and who really knows the inside and outs of details and treats people the right way. His reputation is great. But for me, he is very qualified to be a general manager in the NFL. My question would be, do you want someone who is going to go get the groceries for KOC and Brian Flores, or do you want someone who's going to evaluate Kevin O'Connell as a head coach? Because then I think you want to go outside the building, and maybe this way of pairing the GM and head coach together, as opposed to more of a structure of this person answers to this person, answers to this person. Maybe they need to change that, because we're on kind of two in a row that haven't really worked out. And ultimately they ended up just, bickering at the end of the day, right? Or not getting along with each other. Maybe you need a general manager who is the liaison to the owners who do not live in Minnesota. They're not in the building every single day. And it feels like now twice they've been the last to know that there were issues between the coaching staff and the general manager, that, everybody around the building knew the whispers. And yet here you are, finding out in these meetings, allegedly right after the season. So I think that's what they should do, is go out and, bring George Payton back, who's the GM of Denver, whose contract comes up. He's someone they know, they trust, and have him come in and evaluate, do you want to go forward with Kevin O'Connell, or do you need to make a change there?
Great stuff, Matthew. Thanks so much for making time for us this morning. Be well, bud. We'll do this again soon, okay?
Anytime. Appreciate you having me.
Matthew Coller, Purple Insider, inside everything of what's going on with the Vikes right now, including the dismissal of Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. That was good stuff. All right, we'll break. We come back. Our guy Mike McFeely will join us. We'll chat probably some Vikes, some other topics as well. Bowling, ? I'm sure that'll be a topic when we return after this.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely. I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
It's that time on a Tuesday morning at 9:35. Our guy Mike McFeely here with props today. How's it going?
Well, these aren't props. It's I didn't have time after bowling last night to do this, and so I hope you don't mind if I'm polishing one of my balls on your show today, one of my bowling balls. But yeah, so if you want to, whatever you want to talk about,
go ahead. You're going to be distracted here.
If you do want to ask about bowling, go ahead. I'll just.
You got your shirt back on.
I
happened to wear it today.
I don't know how to put this, but I didn't really get home last night after bowling in time to take it off because of the way things unfolded at bowling last night.
Yeah, you tweeted out your score here, man. You did fairly well last night.
I did.
You were in the lineup first off. Look at that.
Yep.
168, 201 in game 3?
I had a 201 in game 3. And it's, when everything comes together the way it did last night for me, I mean, I could tell early on that I was like, okay, this could be a good night. I mean, because my break in my bowling ball is normally like 1 inch.
Okay.
And last night in the first game, it was 1.5 inches.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like going, okay, there's some magic happening here. And it took me a while. But then once I got in the groove and figured out the oil pattern, by the third game, you saw the result there, 201. And it was quite a night at Sunset Lanes last night.
This probably demands like more playing time, right? I'm sure you tell your teammates I'm in the lineup permanently here.
I don't want to litigate this on the air, but I'll just say that after my scores were posted last night, and remember I'm a 150 bowler, so I was above my average by a lot, and you can see my handicap score there was like an average like 250 a game almost. That's pretty unbeatable. So. I don't want to litigate this on the air with my teammates because I love them, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that there were some text messages last night and some phone calls from some other teams in the league. So there was some tampering. There's some tampering going on, and there were offers made for me to transfer.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't. It's not uncommon in bowling. In leagues to have this going on ever since, the United States Bowling Congress really dropped the ball on this years ago, and they didn't really shut the door on transferring.
So it's just open season here?
It's open season, and so there were offers made last night.
So after careful consideration,
some of the stuff that was on the bowling message boards last night and in the chat rooms was not accurate. I did not commit to the Sammy's Pizza team. I did not do that. I'm not going to say that there weren't offers made, but I did not commit to the Sammy's Pizza team. So that was inaccurate on the bowling message board. But after a lot of consideration and just some talking with my family and other, I'm committed to my team.
You're staying with the Storm. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're my brothers.
Okay.
It's the culture of our team is second to none. Yes. And it's just the legacy, the history, the tradition, the culture, just the brotherhood that we have that's going to outweigh whatever offers other teams. I'm not Sammy's Pizzas got thrown to the bus last night, as did the Dilworth Legion team. And I can't deny there were offers made. I can't deny there was contact.
Man.
But I'm going to stay put. So, with that being said, I'm staying put.
I think you hit them all. I think you hit all the platitudes and cliches that we run into.
And look, I talked with our team captain this morning already, Tim Cousy, and he's, they did the best they could, but that's it. So I'm okay. But I'm staying put.
Oh man!
And the goal now is a championship in the roll-offs in April.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go.
Well, that's where we're
LFG, as they say on the Twitter machine.
I don't even know what to say. That was well done. I appreciate that. Man.
I was in talk radio doing my own solo show for like 10 years.
You had your own show?
I did, right? Back over here for a while. And what I learned, aside from not to call people paid protesters, what I learned was that you never quit the bit.
No.
You never quit the bit.
It.
And so you got to keep going. And so I have people ask me.
You told me this at the Bison game, right?
So at the Bison game on Saturday, I had a gentleman tell me that I had to give my bowling scores every Tuesday on your show.
Well,
so there they
it
were.
Is. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty darn good. What was working? Did you do something different last night or no?
No. It's not the results, it's the process, Dom. Okay?
Another one.
If you just stick with the process, you're gonna get. It's not about the numbers. It really isn't.
No.
It's about 1% better every day.
The end result.
1% better every day. And the facilities that we have, the facilities that we have for tee times and 10 are second to none in the Monday Night Bowling League.
Yeah.
And I just want to be the best version of myself. And I think I did that last night. And so now it's about consistency. Now it's about
you got to do it next week.
It's not enough to do it 1 week.
No, you got to follow.
I got to have to follow up on it. Because there's always somebody pushing me.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you were just benched a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's not like Marlon Warren wants to sit. I mean, he wants to push me. He wants my spot. And so I just have to be better every day.
All right. Let's break.
Thank you. Are we done now?
I think we're good, right?
I had a whole shtick about it.
I'm sure you do. You've got the bowling shoes are here too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Those are
I did have them on, but I
fantastic.
didn't want to get them out in the snow.
That's probably not
because when I
good
got
idea.
home this morning.
Yes, after celebration.
Well, I mean, after media commitments and just partying and it's all the stuff. Being with family last night after the 201, it became a blur.
That was good.
And by the way, I'm going to Disney World as well.
Wow, how about that?
Yep. So.
All right, let's break. We'll come back. We'll talk some other things with Mike, including his favorite topic, was just the Mountain West Conference. We'll do that on the other side of the break after this. All right, actually, we're going to do our normal segment here.
How was that segment for actual content?
Text message comes in God, what is this? I can't remember the bowler's name. You have to wear the shades next week.
Oh, yeah. No, it's yeah.
I can't remember. It's not Pete Weber. It's not him.
It is Weber though, isn't it? It's the son of
I can't remember.
Dick Weber, Pete Weber.
I can't remember.
The guy that did
right? It's me. Yeah.
You're not who you are. I am, or whatever.
Yes.
That thing.
So good.
I can't think of the guy's name, but yes.
Oh man.
Got my Oakleys on.
Yeah, it is Pete.
Pete Weber. Yeah.
All right. So scouring the internet this morning, which is always a fun thing to do. The latest bracketologies are out, Michael, for both the men and the women. Which one you want to start with, the Bison men or Bison women?
Let's start with I think the women are. They're more quote unquote assured,
especially
of
after what happened this weekend.
Yeah, and so nothing's guaranteed, but the men have a really tough road from here on out, and Sioux Falls is going to be a battle. So I think the women have maybe a smoother path to the NCAA tournament, as smooth as it can be.
On ESPN right now, the Charlie Cream does the bracketology on the women's side, has the Bison women up to a 10 seed now.
Wow.
10 seed.
Think about that.
Right?
That's pretty good.
That's safely in.
Oh,
right?
yes. Oh, that's.
Against Washington, and the game will be played in Nashville, Tennessee, of all places.
Oh, isn't that interesting? I could make a snarky comment, but so the football team couldn't get there,
go, yes.
and the women's basketball team will get to Nashville.
Okay, so on the men's side, we've got a couple different ones. CBS has the Bison men as a 14 playing Purdue. Last I checked, Purdue's all right in basketball.
Yeah. Yep.
Yikes. Lenardi on ESPN.com this morning has the Bison back as a 13 playing Kansas
13 seed
in Philadelphia.
Oh, really? What if our rental car Husk is still in the parking lot of the Citizen Bank Field?
On fire?
On fire, burned out. They just left it there as a
And then the Athletic also has the Bison in Philly as a 14 playing Purdue.
That's pretty good.
Man,
I like to tease you about bringing up the bracketology stuff because it in the Summit League's case, it doesn't matter because you have to win the tournament.
Got to win the tourney
to get in. But I'll say this: how much fun is it in Fargo?
Oh man,
to be looking at this bracketology stuff for both teams and going, wow. I mean, the women could be, at least according to this, could be a 10 seed, which is they were awful for 20 years. Well, not 20, 17 years. They were awful.
They were irrelevant, even worse.
Yes.
They're probably worse than awful. They were irrelevant.
Right. And then, there was just the complete apathy from the fan base around the program, even from diehard NDSU fans and team makers and all that. There was just nothing there. I mean, for both teams, and again, credit to Dave Richman as well, because, I mean, he's had a couple rough years in terms of going out quickly in the Summit League tournament and not meeting the expectations that he had set for the men's program.
And I contend if they're healthy, they make it to the Summit League championship game last year.
That's true.
That.
Yeah. But to be talking about bracketology in February is pretty amazing.
The Bison men, Michael, this morning are 118, now the leading team in the Summit League after
in
what happened.
In the net rankings. Yeah. And the women are up to 41.
41 this morning. Which is, again...
Which I've been kind of watching. I don't know enough about the net rankings to know if they can sneak into the top 40.
Beat the Jackrabbits again, maybe.
It might, and then, I mean, I don't know if it has to do with margins.
From what I was told, yes. It depends on how much you win and who you're beating by how much
and
as well.
That doesn't bode well for a team like Omaha or UND.
No.
Who are just not very good.
Those teams.
And so maybe in the old days, you sort of call off the dogs if you're up by 20. And if it benefits you to win by 40, then oof.
I'm telling you, I'm really interested now. You were at the game, the women's game Saturday. We had about 1,600 there. The men were back home this week to see some actual momentum now, because you mentioned that on the men's side, they still have to go to Brookings. They still got to go to St. Paul, and they got to go to Grand Forks.
Well,
that is not going to be
easy. The interesting thing with the Summit League, and I think that people are right about this. I've heard a couple guys say this, is that like the Bison are undefeated. And winning road games the way they've won them there is a tip of the cap. So
absolutely.
They are grinders. And how they got there by losing 15-point leads is maybe concerning. But they won the games, and they've won some difficult road games. And so that means a lot to do that. But a lot of the games have been really close. I mean, they went double overtime with Oral Roberts at home, who is not very good.
No.
They beat St. Thomas by a handful at home. They beat the Jackrabbits by 10 or 11 at home.
Beat Omaha at the buzzer.
They beat Omaha at the buzzer
on the
at
road.
home on the road, right?
Yeah.
And so my point is, it's not like they're like the Jackrabbit women, and actually the Bison women this year. They're winning all their league games by 20 points.
Yep.
It's not like that on the men's side where you. So it goes back to, I mean. Denver's not going to be an easy out.
I agree with you.
Omaha is not going to be an easy out at home. And so it's fun, but it's not.
These are grinder games,
These are not guaranteed games, but the Bison men would be well advised to take care of business at home because they have a couple of really difficult road games, 3 of them coming up. And they have a 2-game lead now that St. Thomas lost a couple of times now in the league. And so there's a cushion there, but you
can't lose your home games.
You can't lose your home games at this point, and you can't lose all 3 of those road games. You need to win one of them.
I say,
two to guarantee if you win all your home games. But all of that is,
a lot easier said than done.
Oh yeah, so it's the men's side is going to be really fun.
So I guess I'm saying the tournament is wide open. Is what I would take from that
for sure. I think for sure. I just the way that the games have played out. NDSU is really good.
Yep.
I think they have the best and deepest men's team. But just looking at the results, I mean, South Dakota has like 4 guys and the kid who works in the cafeteria, on their team.
Yes.
And then 2 guys they picked up off the street at the grocery store. Hey, want to play college basketball?
Play.
Come on.
Yep.
And the NCAA said okay, apparently. And And they took NDSU to overtime and erased a 15-point lead or whatever it was in the second half.
Yep.
So the men's side is going to be a grinder. I think that, the women's side's odd because I saw USD here.
Yes.
And I'm going, okay. And I went to the game.
Yep.
I thought, this is going to be a pretty good game. And I went, oh, USD is just kind of small and slow. And,
right.
and they can't get their shots off.
And the Bison won by 20.
Against NDSU. Right. And I went, okay, that's...
So then what do we make what happened in Vermilion then on Saturday?
So then they just destroy SDSU in Vermilion. And so I don't know, is NDSU just that good?
Yeah,
Or is SDSU just had a horrible day? And USD made like 11 three-pointers.
Might be a combination
they couldn't. In Fargo, USD couldn't get shots off. How many shot clock violations for the USD game and the Oral Roberts game?
I count at least probably
happened?
6. Yeah, probably 3 and 3.
They couldn't get their shots off.
Well, Marissa Frost blocked Molly Joyce, USD's point guard, twice in that game. Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm.
Well, and
look at the women's team, the NDSU women's team going. Maybe they're way better than I give them. I mean, I know they're good because I've seen a few basketball games in my life, and I'm like, okay, they're really efficient offensively. And defensively, they have the ability and the length. There's another one for you to lock teams down. So it's been impressive so far for the Bison women and the men.
Bison got to go on the women's side to Vermilion. Of course, they end the season with SDSU here, and then UND to wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, Sam Niederman, the radio voice of the Bison, texted me the other day and said, like, is this going to be the best February? Or not like the best or most entertaining February ever? For the basketball teams in combination?
Certainly in the Division I era. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Not even close.
And I said, man, I'd have to go back and look at some of those seasons back in the late 90s when Tom Billiter was here.
Yeah.
And the men were good enough to get to the regionals and the women were doing what they do back in those days. But I mean, certainly the records were nothing like they are. But I mean, it's going to be a fun February, no matter what happens.
Real quick, you got a pick for the Super Bowl?
Seahawks, comfortably.
Okay, comfortably.
Yes.
All right. We'll see what happens. Thanks again for coming by and bringing. You got a name for the ball? Does the ball have a name? Or you can't share it on the air?
Yeah, I can't. Okay. Thanks for the bailout there. I had nothing. I just had nothing.
Congratulations on your 200 game that you rolled last night.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Yes.
All right. Mike McFeely joins us each and every Tuesday. We come back. We'll start our second hour. David Richman will join us. Bison men's basketball head coach. Chat about the win on Saturday. Look ahead to the matchup with Denver coming up on Thursday. That's coming up when we come back.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
I think just like Dom's outfit, they're not always pretty. Sometimes they're really ugly. But
Just been all over Amazon and just about every site looking for these mustard pants. And
my wife will tell you, must have burned mine.
People actually listen to your show.
They watch.
They
I
watch
told
it.
You. Yeah.
Play defense in that first half like Dom transitions to you after the game. It's way too long, way too lazy, but
You got all these answers. I'm going to bring you over and have you do our non-conference schedule.
I'd love to. I'd love to go to Grand Canyon,
I would
man.
love.
Hey,
well, you
doing
can
that
come with.
game.
That's not the thing. I love when you're on Dom. You're so transparent. And I'm like, so two things are happening. That one, people are watching your show, listening.
Yes.
Right? That caught me a little off guard. I'm just being honest.
It is that time. It is Tuesday at 10 o'clock or a little after. Do we visit with Bison men's basketball coach David Richman joins us. His appearances are brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Bison are back home this week. They've got Denver coming up on Thursday, then Omaha on Saturday. The first place Bison, an overtime win on Saturday against South Dakota. Took a little bit, a couple more years off your life on Saturday with that win.
What's it like to be in second place, Dom? Because here's the deal. I am first place dad this morning.
There's no doubt about that. Absolutely.
And here's what I mean. So last night, I had Luke fill in on the radio show for me so I could go watch our twins play little hoops.
Yeah.
The very, very first possession, one of them sprains her ankle.
Oh.
Okay. And she got it pretty good. But this morning, the dad that I am, that we can do hard things, we had to go to school on crutches and a boot.
Mm.
Yeah. And I believe at one point in the car, she gave me a finger that resembled like I was either her number one dad or fan or something like that. It might have had something to do with the dad joke along the way, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got a tough act to fill today.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. That's a heck of a way to start. Appreciate that.
Yeah, just here's the best way to do it. Just parent your kids, and have them understand that they can do hard things once in a while and survive. And I was actually having this conversation with Phelps the other day, back when Jaden Olson was here, 4 or 5 years ago, and maybe 5 or 6 years ago. One day he asked me, he's like, "Hey, can you be a head coach? Or you think I'm ready to be a head coach?" And I really didn't have a great answer for him. And then about a week later, I called him and I just picked up the phone and I said, "Hey, can you say no? Can you say you're not good enough?" He's like, What are you talking about?" I said, "Can you say no? Can you say you're not good enough?" I said, "Well, welcome to being a parent. Welcome to being a coach," right there. I seem like that's all I get to do.
That's the deal, man. That's exactly what happened. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's a good way to start. I mentioned
Saturday was good.
Yeah,
Saturday was good, not great. I will say this. I always talk a lot about the Bison, and rightfully so, because that's what I can control. Eric Peterson's done a really good job, through a ton of adversity. And I will say this, and I need to be a little bit careful because it's no offense to anything, but like some of the pieces they've added, I think in a lot of ways make them a different team, and in some other ways, I don't want to say a better team, but an interesting team. And I mean that. Like they have, between 0 and 1 and Finns, like the ball gets in their hands a lot.
Yep.
And they're aggressive, they're talented. The Bunyan kid can really guard. Like they tested us, but at the end of the day, our guys do what they do. And the composure, Dom, and the poise and the understanding that our guys can play with down the stretch in tight games, it's pretty impressive.
I was going to say, to bank on the other, like the Omaha game, to have that kind of ending, Oral Roberts game to have that, how much is that, muscle memory that they've done it a couple times over?
Well, I think there is something to it. I believe it was the Furman coach the other day. He just talked about, the importance, the premium of age and experience, the been there, done that.
Yeah.
And, like that's something too, as we go into the spring, depending on who's back, who's not back, and what our roster builds for, like for next year, making sure that we have age and experience, because, Riley Massey's a really good player, but he hasn't been in a lot of, late game situations, and some of these guys have. And like some of the plays that Andy Stefanowicz is making, and the trust that he has, the connection that he has with different guys, or, hey, now we're going to deny Travion Carson, and then I'm just going to take it to the hoop, or I'm going to do a one more to Tay Smith, like Noel Federson, like another been there, done that guy. Like we had a lot of guys step up, and I didn't think Mark High, had a great day. But, man, he was present down the stretch. Man, he hit a floater. He ran the floor hard and got a big dunk in transition. Yep. Just a lot of guys, when it came to winning, made some big-time winning plays.
Watching a little melt here, Dave, of what Stefanowicz did on Saturday. He had that late basket at the end of regulation, the up and under. It was just a fantastic move. He has a double-double, 15 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, we've talked plenty about what he's done this year, but how has he taken this to a higher level for you this year?
Well, I think Luke Strager will tell you is, what we're doing offensively is tremendous. It's terrific. But also, so you look at St. Louis right now, and St. Louis is elite. They're playing extremely well, and I believe they only have one loss, and they've wrapped up some things defensively too. But the fact that they got the big goggles fella, and he's been in that system now for a couple years, things just flow. They click. Well, it's going to always take some time with some new pieces, but the fact that Andy and Luke have been together and they have an understanding, and Travion Carson's a really smart player, and guys are listening to what we're asking them to do, there's a flow to it. There's a rhythm to it. And the poise, like down the, not just the game clock, but the shot clock, where there's no panic, and Andy's dribbling, and then somebody cuts, finds him floater, good. Those things. And Andy's kind of been, Andy would never say anything bad to me, but I've had to take him out of a couple games where we've been up and he's had 8 assists, and he's like, "Man, I wanted 10, coach." And I'm like, "I get it." And he's like, "Yeah, coach, I get it." But close game, overtime game. Again, Andy would tell you too, like, it's a product of the system. It's a product of the guys catching and finishing. But, what he's doing right now is remarkable offensively.
I got to give some props to Noah Feddersen, and we've talked plenty about Feddersen on this program in the time you've been on. The last couple of years, to see his role change, but without him, you don't win against Oral Roberts, obviously, and you don't win Saturday. Just how has he embraced what he's doing now, as opposed to what the first 15 games of the season were like?
Yeah, it's a goosebumps moment right here for me as a coach. You're right, and I said this yesterday to the group. Like when we address the group on Mondays, it's all right. Here's what we need to clean up: X, Y, Z. All right, let's celebrate these. As President Cook says, these kudos, these positives, and then let's move on. And I said it specifically like this: Noah, during the game, I thought you played well, and then I look at the box score and I thought you played really well. And then I go back and watch the game multiple times, and I'm like, that was an elite performance on both ends of the floor. And we had a speaker come in and talk about your attitude, your effort, and your trust. And can you have those three things no matter what's going on in your life? And clearly, Noah was struggling. He'd be the first to tell you he was lacking some confidence for a while. Well, then, as a coach, again, you go back and you got to make some tough decisions. And I honestly didn't think it was tough when it was right for what was best for the program, and where Trayson was at, where Noah was at the time. Well, now it becomes the moment where your response matters everything. And Noah's response has been terrific, and I mean that like he showed up every day with a positive attitude. Great effort. He's continued to trust the process. He'd be the first to tell you. That when we do some extra work with some guys and we give some of the higher minute guys a choice, do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? He's always, yes, I want to do it. And I'm proud of him. Like, listen, it's the same thing. We can do hard things. There's no secrets. I wish, so much you could take these 18 to 24-year-old kids and fast forward and go, you see what I was trying to tell you? And thankfully, we got some guys, especially like Noah Feddersen right now, that are buying into it a little bit earlier in life.
To have this stretch here where you just got done with 3 straight on the road, and it was a little wonky because obviously you had the week off. Just describe being back home now for the chance to defend home court and have a couple big home games this week.
Yeah, a couple of those, like I said, those cleanup things I talked about yesterday is, I didn't think a couple guys, on the court and just in practice that had a great week. And then I also singled myself out. Like, I hate excuses, but I don't think I had the same fight that I needed to have preparing for last week, meaning like, when you're on the road, you never sleep great. And then we added an extra night on the road because of the travel adversity on Sunday. And then, the different rhythm of only playing one. Right. Again, at the end of the day, Dom, let me be clear, all excuses. But I thought we were lethargic just going into that game. And we started out in a good way. But then just let off the gas a little bit too. And so I do think, like, I feel different this week. Saturday night, Sunday night, sleeping in my own bed, doing those things. And I don't mind playing on the road. And the fact that we won 8 road games and 5 in league like that, those are big. Winning's hard. Winning on the road is really hard. So I'm really proud of our group. But also, let me be crystal clear. Thursday night at 7 and Saturday at 1. It's going to be nice to be back in the shack in the Shield Center.
It's February 3rd. You've won 19 games. I know we still got everything still in front of you, but 19 wins already on February 3, man. That's a heck of a job you had this year. I'll just say it.
No. I mean, we got great guys, Dom, and I appreciate that. And our staff is. I'm really proud of the way the staff has laid things out and the way they've owned some things. And going back to a conversation, just even yesterday in the staff meeting, I'm like, guys, what's going on here? And I want to do this. And Jones is like, just settle down. We need to clean some things up. Here's what we can do. And it was right? There's conflict. I love it. There's those things. But at the end of the day, and I had somebody say, man, is it like the pressure? Like, let's keep – no, we're having so much fun. Let's continue to have fun. Like yesterday's practice was as good a practice as we've had in a long time. And that's what I care about. If we – there's 2 things. You just got to stay present and you got to trust it. And I know that's just stupid, old, boring coach speak, but it's also – it's also the truth. Like, we can't get caught up in this and that, and everything's in front of us. And, the moment we look the other way or start focusing on this or that, like, that's when you get distracted. I think, like, again, transparent Dave on the Dom show, like, we've had a lot of conversations, too, about who's in your DMs right now. The agents are sliding in, all of these things. Like, let's talk about these things, guys, because when this is done, this season's done, and hopefully it's a deep run into March, then let's sit down and talk about it. Like, I've had conversations with agents and scouts at high levels with NBA guys. I don't think we have anybody like a Grant Nelson or a Jackson Money right now. And so you don't need an agent right now. You don't need somebody in your ear telling you what you need to do. That same person is now in your ear because you've been doing things well, doing it the way we've been doing it too. So, you got to continue to be transparent. It's different. I know you're shaking your head, and I don't blame you. You're right. 3 years ago, I would have been like, "This is taboo. Like, we can't talk about this."
No,
and now
Yep. I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying it, because I think, and you and I have had conversations about this off air, that I think some either don't believe it or don't believe that I say it. If you're saying it, this is real.
Well,
this has happened.
And it ended up being ultimately a great situation. So I'm transparent. Jakari White is killing it.
Yeah.
Right. He goes to Butler and is killing it.
Yep.
And then you can kind of see a slide. Like, what's going, and I'm like, and we're winning games, but me, it's not about winning. It's like, all these things. And I'm like, Jakari, and I'm not. And then we drop those two on the league. And then we go to Oral Roberts and we win 110-96. And my blood pressure is through the roof. My staff is laughing at me like, we're winning, but this isn't. And finally, like, I'm talking to Jakari's dad and I'm talking to him, and all these people are telling him, this, and this. Yeah. I said, okay, you want to do it that way? Then sit your butt down. You're going to come off the bench and you're going to guard and you're going to do these things. Well, it takes a minute, but he goes back to doing things the way we do it. He ends up having, 30-some at South Dakota. Yeah. He ends up being a dude at South Dakota State. And so, listen, I'm a pro agent guy. Like, I do think this day and age, we thought we could maybe handle Jakari's thing, and then he gets an agent and just blows up his number. And so I'm happy for those things. But, there's also a time and place. And let me be clear, if you're an agent listening to this and you're in my guys' DMs, I think you're a shark, and I think you're a snake, and I think you're about the wrong things. And if you don't like that, here's my phone number. Call me, and I'll gladly help you with my guys that I know way more about than you do. And you can sense me getting a little intense there. A little Tim Paulsek in me.
I appreciate you sharing that, because that's another conversation I know we had last season of what was going on, maybe off air. One last thing before we break here. Can you give us an update on Damari and where he's at with his ankle right now?
Yeah, trending really, really well, Dom. I don't. He did practice a little bit yesterday. Okay. I think the big thing that you learn with ankles and all that is how does it respond. So we'll see. I haven't had communication yet with Dan, our trainer. By the way, Daniel Johnson, is one of those behind-the-scene guys that does a tremendous job for us and, our trainer. So I think we're trending in a very positive direction for Damari this weekend. Grand scheme of things, we got some guys that have stepped up, and we have a bigger picture perspective of where we're going. And at the end of the day, Damari will guide us, but I will make a final decision on where he's at Thursday and then Saturday.
All right, let's break. We'll let Dave's blood pressure get back down, and we'll chat a little bit about the upcoming games with Denver and Omaha. That's coming up. More with Dave Richman, head coach of the Bison. We'll come back after this. All right, back here on this Tuesday morning, Dave Richman joins us. A few more minutes as Bison basketball back home. You'll see it on Thursday night. NDSU Denver at 7, and then Saturday at 1 here on Extra as they take on Omaha. NDSU Athletics just tweeted out a graphic combined right now. The men's and women's teams 18-0, 27 straight victories. There's some pretty good vibes going on the basketball teams right now on the north side of Fargo.
There is, and there should be. And I don't think either Jory and I are going to run from any of it too. We're smart enough to surround ourselves with some wonderful people in our staff rooms and in our locker rooms with the players. Jory's got a fun group. They're all over giving me crap in the back hallways. Those ladies are rolling. And again, I'll do something that he won't. Like, Jory and I become obviously colleagues but great friends, and I'm happy for him. That was a mountain to climb. I always felt like you could be a fairly fast climb to get to number 2, but then that last little hurdle and again, he'll tell you the same thing. They haven't done anything yet, but to get over that's got to be a feeling. And I think the thing that, as a coach from an outsider's perspective, the win at St. Thomas, You know, after an emotional win like that, that's a big win that I don't know where St. Thomas is in the league, but I know they got a couple big girls that are pretty good. And then you could see them just kind of roll along here this past weekend. So they're clicking. Obviously, it's early, and stay healthy, stay in the rhythm. But really happy for Jory and the ladies.
All right, I have to ask here. You said that the women's team gives you a hard time. What do they give you a hard time about? We need to know that.
A couple of them want to do a TikTok, but they don't realize how my dance moves are. And hey, by the way, can I borrow your pants for that too? That would really
absolutely yes.
That would really make that TikTok better.
Yeah, you on TikTok, you tweeting during the season, I'm still having a hard time with. Because for people who don't know, you had a blackout not that long ago, and you didn't do it.
Hey, I'm having a hard time with it too.
Well, you're actually engaging with me on social media as well, so I don't know who you are now. If you had told me that 5 years ago.
One time, can you have a plural word of engaging? Just engage.
Okay.
Engage. Okay. There you go.
All right, so now it's round 2 around the league. As a coach, you've done this for a bit. How does that change when you see a second team, especially you just played Denver? Is that good, bad, no thing? You just saw them a week and a half ago, and now you're playing them again.
It is what it is thing, again, it goes back to, it is different where we still haven't played North Dakota.
Yeah.
But we've played Oral Roberts and USD twice. And so, again, let's go and clean up the Bison. I thought USD did a good job. They threw some different things at us, in particular in the second half, that helped us kind of continue to shape, what we want to do defensively. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but also that adversity, I think, can make us, better down the stretch, not having Damari in some of those situations. So, we still need to make sure Dom is maybe a little bit different as it could be. There's going to be some, adjustments. I always talk about like the first 8 minutes of a game, the first 2 medias, you're going to see some different things. But at the end of those last 32 minutes, you're going to play basketball. And so we need to be on point with us. And this is, I think like this week and next week are really big weeks, meaning like it's kind of shaping some things. You can kind of see a little bit, but I think you're going to have a pretty clear picture in a couple weeks of where really it's going to, kind of wind down into. And not that it's going to be done by then, but, as you get to late January, early February, teams are wavering one way or another.
Yeah.
You got the Bison. Are they going to get comfortable and relax? And someone's going to, because we're going to get everybody's best shot. You got some teams that are, just kind of hanging on. Are like, are they going to fight through some things? Or are they going to roll over? And I'm not talking just the Summer League. I'm talking across the country. It's the dog days of college basketball, but it's got to mean the same. It really does. And that's why I was really proud of our group yesterday and our intentions, our attitude, our effort, our trust and practice yesterday.
All right, here's a really simplistic question, so don't roll your eyes at me. But what does it take to be a really good road team? You've done that this year. What goes into that?
Well, I think it's routine. I think it's talent. And I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of cliches like compete, improve, tough, and everybody's got their thing. Like I want Bison basketball to be described as tough / together. And when you're tough and you're together, you got a chance. You got a chance anywhere. And, this group is tough and they're together. And toughness isn't like a back alley street fight or anything like toughness is here. The mental makeup of, what does it look like? It's blowing a big lead, having the opponent go up and yet not flinching in that next possession. Yeah. That's toughness. And maybe sometimes it's just an expectation for me because it's the next, but like, I didn't play basketball. I know it's going to really surprise you at a very, very high level, like you did.
Yeah.
But our guys do, and they understand this. Like, hey, what do I need to do and execute in this next possession? And we've probably worked through a lot more situations mentally and prepared, more so than ever, because you just don't have the guys, as long, and you want to be on point with those things. But long of the short of the long of it. You got to be tough and we talk about being 10 points better.
Yeah.
Because you're going to overcome some bad calls. You're going to overcome, it was interesting. Like Denver, I've been there how many years? About 486 years I've been going there. Never have we had a crowd like that.
It was really good. Yep, you're right. Yep.
But now you have an undefeated Bison. You've got a former Bison. You got a couple guys that have been right. Like you don't tell me that they're not banging on their marketing's door or they're not going around to their students and saying, "Hey, here's who's coming to town." And like Andy Stefanowitz, he hit a big shot, turned around, and blew him a kiss. I think told him he loved him. Like I love that stuff, man.
We're talking plenty on the former Bison in the Super Bowl this week. I got to chat of former Bison basketball players. Tyson Ward had a triple-double over for Olympiacos, in which is, I think, the top league he's playing in Europe right now. Jackson Money had a double-double in the G League. You got to tell me about a couple of your former guys that are killing it right now.
Hey, I don't know anything. I don't. And maybe, some breaking news, but I would not be surprised at all from what I'm hearing of how things went down the past offseason and how things are going. Tyson Ward might be an NBA player, really soon.
Yeah.
And I want a lot of guys to hear that. Markai Strickland and I have had some conversations. Like, it's not because he's this elite scorer or anything like that, but he's impacting the game at a lot of different levels. And he's, his coach from overseas the past couple of years is now the coach at Memphis. I believe I'm saying that right. And I think there was a moment like Jackson Money. It always takes him a minute. He's not this elite athlete, so it takes him a minute to get his feet under him, and you could kind of see that. I was getting some calls, from his mom and from his agent, and just I'm just like, bear with the kid, bear with him, hang on. Let him get comfortable. Let him know, like, he just needs to experience. Like, last summer, or 2 summers ago, like, we're like, who's this? He's not very good, Well, he cleaned up his body. He got some confidence. Yeah, well, he ended up being pretty good. And I think, too, with Grant, same thing with Grant, where he's gaining some confidence, getting his feet underneath him. I've said it, and the only way to gain experience is to go through experiences. And anytime you jump up level, whether that's a JV, high school to high school to college to the pros, it takes a minute normally, unless you're just one of the elites of the elites. And I'm proud of those guys for staying at it and grinding.
Great to see you as always, Bud. Thanks for the time, and we'll see you on Thursday night, okay?
Appreciate you.
There he goes. David Richman joins us each and every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Bison coming up against Denver. You'll see it live here on Extra, 7 o'clock on Thursday. We'll break. We come back. National Signing Day tomorrow. You'll meet one of Steve Lockway's newest guys. Standout from Bismarck Legacy, one of the best players in North Dakota. Jack Julson's coming up when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour on a busy moving Tuesday show. Tomorrow, Dragon head football coach Steve Lockway will join us at 9:30 to chat about his signing class. It becomes official tomorrow. Also, Bison Media Zone, NDSU offensive coordinator Dan Larson will join the program tomorrow to chat about 2 guys he recruited pretty heavily and coached in Jalen Sundell and Gray Zabel. Going to be playing in the Super Bowl. That's coming up tomorrow, so looking forward to that. I mentioned signing day tomorrow. Our next guest is finally going to make it official. He committed back in August out of Bismarck Legacy, and he'll be playing his football across the river for Minnesota State University Moorhead next season. Jack Julson joins us to chat about heading to the Dragons and playing for the last few seasons for the Sabres. It's great to see you, bud. Congratulations. We were just joking off air. You've been sitting on this for the better part of 6 months. How excited are you to have this done tomorrow?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting moment for me and my family, so we're excited.
What has this been like? You committed, I want to say, right when school started, and then you play your season, and you still have to wait a couple months.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I mean, I have a lot of support, a lot of people to talk to, so I mean, I just think it's confirmed my original commitment. So
I know we visited off air. The phone didn't stop ringing even after you committed. Can you talk a little bit about that for going through this, that, hey, there were still schools, I guess, that were, quote unquote, checking in on you?
Yeah, no, I had some schools keep checking in on me, which is always good. I mean, I just felt like I was staying committed to MSUM was the right decision for me. And, you know, I just think that speaks a lot to the character that they're trying to build at MSUM. And, you know, I'm just excited to join Coach Lockway's family.
All right, what's the plan for tomorrow? You got ceremony. What's on tap for tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow at like 10, I think a couple of the boys from the football team are going to come down and me and my family, we're gonna sign some papers and take some pictures, and it'll be a fun time. So,
are you nervous, excited, a little bit of both? What do you think the emotions will be like for tomorrow?
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it. I mean, I think the nerves are kind of gone now. I feel like I've been in committed for a while, so I've had a lot of time to think about it.
Just ready to be done with, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I want to ask you, Legacy's no longer the new kids on the block. You guys are, they're not even the newest varsity team anymore in North Dakota. Describe this season. You got to win. I want to talk about the game out here against Horace, a playoff win for the first time. What was this season like to experience, especially being a senior?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, props to the guys to getting us through and getting a successful season for the Legacy Sabres this year. And, I just think that comes from our leadership as senior class. I felt like we had a really good leadership and just a great group of guys on the team and a great team to be a part of. So,
all right, you guys,
I hope we can continue it.
You guys played a couple of bonkers games. The first game with Horace, let me rip the Band-Aid off on that one now. Tell me about that. They go and score with no time left. What was that game to experience?
Yeah, no, that one stung a little bit, and I think we kind of circled the next game on our schedule when we knew we were going to play them again. So I think we kind of are coming off a high because we beat Davies the game before Horace, and then we got smacked in the mouth. So, I mean, I think it was really good for us for the rest of the season to know that we're not the top dogs, and we can be beaten. So
when the bracket comes out, Jack, and you see you're going to play Horace again, what was that like leading up to that game?
Oh, I was excited. I mean, I think the whole team was excited. We knew we had a pretty good shot to beat them, and we just had to go out there and play our game and do what we do best.
So you caught a touchdown in that game. I think it was like 30-mile-per-hour wind. How difficult was it playing in a game? It was Halloween, if I remember right. How difficult was that night conditions-wise to play in?
Yeah, no, it was a challenge for both teams. I mean, I think I just kept telling the guys, I was like, yeah, we like to pass the ball, but we might have to rely on the run a little bit today. Yeah. But just know that like the other team's gonna be playing in the same stuff as us. So, we just stuck to that and we got it done.
So they end up they score a touchdown, but they're not going to kick. They're going to go for two. Where are you? Are you on the field or are you on the sideline when that's going on?
I was on the field, and I just remember I was like, oh my goodness, this is our season right here, and I'm just yelling at our linebackers and our defensive linemen. I was like it's now or never. I mean, this is the moment right here.
So they make the tackle. Tell me what it was like after that? After you guys get the stop.
I was in shock. I mean, we kind of like group tackled him, and I remember all the team was running off the field, and then there was like they didn't know if there was still time on the clock, so we had everybody on the field, and yeah, no, it was just insane. I've never been a part of something like that before. So cool.
I mean, literally, the two games you played were decided by 2 points. That you can't get any closer in those two games.
No, you couldn't have drawn it up any better.
I gotta ask, what was that bus ride back home that night?
Oh, I don't know if half the guys slept. I mean, I think everybody was so pumped up, and we were all looking for the next game too. I mean, we were excited that we won, but we were all looking forward to the next game too.
And to get a first playoff win, be on the road. What is going? I know you're done, Noble. How does that help things going forward now for Legacy football?
Yeah, it sets the standard, and everybody's got that standard to live up to now, and I feel like we made a better culture this year for sure, and I hope the younger guys can learn from that and to carry it on.
I mean, and full well, you're going against Bismarck, you're playing Century, obviously Mandan's good, Minot, and I imagine Minot North is not far away from playing 3A football. You lived it, man. The WDA on a weekly basis, just describe it to us.
Yeah, I mean, any team can be any team on any given night. I mean, I'm in basketball season right now, and you see upsets every other day. I mean, if you don't show up one day, you're going to get smacked in the mouth, and that's just how WDA play is.
You were named the WDA Senior Athlete of the Year, set the legacy record for receptions, touchdowns. Let me first go back to that first honor. What that mean to you, be named Senior Athlete of the Year?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I give all glory to my Lord, and I just think that I also have to, say props to my teammates and my parents for supporting me all this way and putting me in situations for me to succeed.
Was football always the sport? Did you have another one?
Yeah, I mean, I play football, basketball, baseball, and I've always felt like football was my calling. And this senior year for sure just like confirmed my assumption.
So was there a point where you're getting attention from colleges say, okay, you got to make up your mind, and can you go through that? What was the decision was like on that?
Yeah, I think it was around my summer going into my junior year.
Yeah.
I started picking up some college attention, and I was like, hey, I could dedicate my summer to go play baseball and basketball, or I could start doing some football camps and start getting my name out there. And I decided to go the football route, and I enjoyed it. I loved going to every single camp, and I had a great time.
What was the position in baseball you played?
I play center field, and I'm bat leadoff, so
there you go.
Kind of the quick guy on the team, I guess.
So just give us the backstory of when the Dragons came into the picture and what piqued your interest on MSUM.
Yeah, no, I thought the culture and the family there was just totally different than any other school I've been to, and I just felt like it's something I could see myself being in, and it felt like home right away.
When did they first reach out, and how much did you know about them when they reached out to you?
Yeah, so I think they kind of had an advantage. So my old teammate Callum Lucas used to go there, or still goes there, but so he was 1 year older than me, and he committed last year. And so he kind of introduced me to them a little bit, and I kind of knew some stuff from him. And so I don't know, I felt like that was my in with MSUM.
And the fact that they throw the ball 70 times a game, that's probably not a bad thing for a wide receiver like yourself, right?
No, it definitely gets me excited.
When you see their offense, a guy that they have a quarterback who's getting talk of the NFL, wide receiver, North Dakota guy, set the all-time receiving record in the history of Division II football. As a wide receiver prospect, you got to think, man, this is where I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's the place to be. I mean, they certainly have produced in the past, and I think they'll continue to.
And the fact that MSUM has recruited North Dakota as heavily as they have, Jack, how big a deal was that to you?
I think it means a lot. I mean, I think there's a lot of great talent in North Dakota, and I think that North Dakota football sometimes gets overlooked. And I think it's really cool that they stuck local. And I like to be with teammates that are local too. So
are you going to have guys you played against that are going to be teammates now going forward?
Yeah. So actually, there's not a lot of Bismarck kids, but there's definitely a lot of Fargo kids that are going there. But one of the Bismarck kids, I actually was friends with since we were little. His name's Carson. So I'm going to be roommates with him. So it's kind of cool knowing you'll be with that type of kid.
Now that you're done playing, you can do the smack talking now. Why is the WDA better than the EDC? Let's go ahead. Just get it out there. Go for it.
I mean, I guess I've never really experienced the EDC, but I just know WDA. I mean, if you don't show up one day, you can get beat by the lowest team on every team is so close together, so competitive that any team can beat any team, and there's definitely a lot of rivalries going on.
So you mentioned you're playing basketball right now. How much does that help for football and vice versa? How much have you, and even going back to baseball as well, did you feel the other sports helped you play football?
Yeah, for sure. I think being a multi-sport athlete definitely gives you an edge. And just not in competitiveness, but in athleticism too. Doing those different movements help make you more athletic. So I think that's been really cool.
We've had Coach Horner on the show a few times. Can you give a good story on him? You got one that you could share for us? We can embarrass him the next time he's on.
Yeah. So last year, I'm guarding this kid on the baseline. I think we're at half court, and we're on our side of the bench, so on our half court, and he's getting down in a full stance, ready to guard the kid, and he's on the sideline, and I'm guarding him, and I'm thinking he's gonna jump on the court and start defending him with me, and he pretty much does. I mean, he gets so excited, he hits the ball out of the kid's hand, and he gets tapped. And so the rule with Legacy is if you get a technical, you have to do 50 laps. So he comes in with his shorts and his T-shirt the next day, and he runs 50 laps.
That's fantastic. That's the story we're looking for. Now we got one that he may not know that we know. So that's fantastic.
Make sure to mention that
I will absolutely do that. All right. So before we let you go, so tomorrow wraps up. Are you celebrating tomorrow night, or are you already done that? Do you have dinner plans or anything after it becomes official tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it might be like a weight lifted off my shoulder, knowing that just my destination and everything's official. And so I think I'm just going to spend time with family, and I'd probably go out to eat a little bit. We'll see.
Do you basically you take a photo of you sign it of the actual letter? Is that how you send it off to MSUM?
Yeah, so we have to fax it there in the morning, and then we'll do
yes,
you know,
there's no doubt. There's no doubt. The fax machine still lives in 2026, apparently, to get Jack's letter of intent in. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the field here this coming fall. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jack Julson joining us from Bismarck Legacy, WDA Senior Athlete of the Year. His numbers speak for themselves. 52 receptions, 852 yards, 12 touchdowns this past season for a Legacy team that won a postseason game for the first time. That game with Horace, I know Sam called it. It was an unbelievable game watching it play out, that Horace took a late lead, or Legacy took a late lead. Horace, by the way, they have the same school colors, which makes it very confusing. Horace gets a touchdown. They opt to go for two, and as Jack aptly described, they stopped it, and Legacy gets the win, moved on to the 3A semifinals before they lost to Century. But congratulations to Jack, and we'll have Coach Lockway on. He can officially talk about Julson tomorrow, so we'll get the lowdown from Steve coming up on our show tomorrow morning. We are due for our final break. That is a fast show that is already in the can here. We come back, we'll wrap things up, get you ready for a busy Sports Tuesday, and say so long. Hot Mic wraps after this. Alrighty, our Magical Mystery Tour wrapping up here for this Tuesday. Again, tomorrow, busy show. Chat plenty of football in anticipation of allegedly the game on Sunday between the Seahawks and the Patriots. That's coming up on our show tomorrow. Dan Larson, part of our Bison Media Zone Spectacular. A couple other fun guests we'll have tomorrow on the show. Let's get a couple emails in that we have not had. Dom, nice to hear Bowler, Mike McFeely quote Dave Richman and Jason Kemp regarding the importance of process. This past Saturday, Jason Kemp used that term in discussing his team's progress this year. It's his favorite Dave Richman noun. Enjoyed the bowling report. We did as well. Let's see. I got one more I wanted to get into. Dom, competition at the Olympics begins a couple days before the opening ceremony. We're going to wake up to mixed doubles curling results Wednesday morning, and there's a full slate of women's hockey on Thursday, a couple of events that are of particular regional interest. Love the show. Appreciate that. Yes, we wake up tomorrow. We have mixed curling. What's better, waking up at 6 a.m. and have curling on television? Let's go. And I get it. The Olympics aren't for everybody, and certainly in this day and age, and certainly the climate of what's happening in this country, that I'm sure some may roll their eyes and say it's not for me, and I'm going to focus on other things, and that's fine. To me, when you have something that is so rare, and they only come around every 4 years, I don't know, it's been in me since I was a kid that I get up for it, and it probably stems from the fact 1992 was my first one, and that was the Dream Team in basketball. That's where the Olympic fever I got. Like, wow, watching Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird dominate in basketball was amazing. And for people that never experienced it, there's no great way for me to compare it to anything else that's ever happened since. There isn't. The 94 Olympics go without saying, because that was Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. If that happened now, it would be the biggest thing ever. That another Olympian hired a hitman to take out another figure skater. It's the most bizarre thing ever. That year also, the hockey tournament had the first ever shootout. We never had a shootout before. The gold medal game was decided in a shootout. To me, I was hooked ever since. So you got me. I don't know about the average sports fan if they'll tune in. It's because typically the Summer Olympics actually draw more viewers than the Winter Games, which seems contradictory because more people are inside now than obviously in the summertime. But that's not how it usually works. So, yes, we will have competition beginning tomorrow. Looking forward to that. All right, let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. What to Watch, brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. All right, here we go. We got high school girls hoops tonight. Kindred taking on Oak Grove. We're in the final stretch of the high school regular season. Join us tonight, 7:30, here on Extra for the Vikings and the Grovers in a Class A girls basketball matchup. Also tonight, you've got some Missouri Valley hoops. You want to check in on Bowdoin Scunberg and Mason Clabo. Illinois State is really good in men's basketball. They play tonight against Southern Illinois. We saw them earlier. The Bison beat them this season. 6 o'clock on ESPN+. The Pro Bowl games are tonight on ESPN. I have no idea what it is. It's not the Pro Bowl anymore. It's not even flag football anymore. I don't know what it is tonight. That's on ESPN. Pretty good NBA game tonight. Celtics and the Mavs, 7 o'clock on NBC as well. As we creep closer to the trade deadline, we'll see if the Wolves do anything between now and then with their roster. They play again in a couple days. We got to wrap it up here. Our thanks to Matthew Coller, to Mike McFeely, to Dave Richman, and to Jack Julson. Missed any of our action-packed show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay of our show on WDAY+. Thanks so much for starting your day with us, everybody. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.